So we are at the Iet Dojo, and I want to go through a sequence with you here real quick. So we're going to start by being inside, or uchi. We're going to be inside the person's attack. Now, I don't particularly care to be there most of the time. So if I'm here like this, you would be inside this circle here, right here in front of me, with one arm on one side, one arm on the other. As you can see with here, here's one arm here, here's another arm here, and I am inside that attack. Now the problem that I have with being on the inside is you got to deal with both arms. You have to deal with both of them. So if I'm going to deflect their right attack, which is coming on my left side here, I can do that just fine. There's no problem with that. But I have to deal with this freaking left arm that's coming, this hook or punch that's coming in over here like this. All right. So boom, boom. So if I'm working here and I'm staying on the inside, I'm going to have to check that shoulder right here, or I'm going to have to cover as that comes in, or I'll have to do something else. I have to do a hiji on the elbow, some kind of stop on the elbow, but I'm going to have to stop that attack from coming in. So I have to deal with both arms at the same freaking time. Not the greatest situation to be in on the inside. Now, let's scoot it over a little bit here. There we go. So let's say we start on the inside, but ultimately I want to be on the outside. So if I make it to the outside, let's say the attack comes in, boom, boom, and instead of going on the inside like this, I hit the outside like this. So I'm on the outside of the body. Now, when I'm defending this arm or attacking this arm, I don't really have to worry about that arm way over there, because it has to go completely across and through to hit me. And that's not really likely to happen as much as if I'm in here, all they have to do is pop me in the head from over here. So there are plenty of techniques to deal with on the inside, and we will work on those. But I will tell you, if I have a preference to being on the uchi or the inside, or being soto on the outside, I'm probably going to pick the outside 99 times out of 100. So we're going to work a technique, and I'm going to move my stick dummy here just enough so that I can actually be on the outside. But we're going to start as if I get stuck on the inside here. So when we're on the inside of the body or outside, I'm going to show you some basic concepts and ideas of how to manipulate the arm. We do not block. All right, these karate blocks like this that stops the motion with force against force like this, we do not do that. We don't have force against force 99.999% of the time. There's no force against force. It's all movement, body movement, manipulation, and it's deflections and things to that nature. We do not stop the attack with a block. We allow it to continue on the path in which it was presented to us. We just happen to not be in the same, we just happen to not be there when it gets to us. Now, we will redirect the attack as well. So we will either just stay out of the way and let it continue on its motion, or we'll redirect it in a position that we maintain control. All right. So we have, and I'll go ahead just real quick, since we're going to be on the inside here, I'm going to show you. We have several basic ways that we deal with attacking limbs, and this works with arms and legs. It's the same. So we have what I call a deflection. A deflection, and we're going to use our outside. So when an attack comes in, so this is the opponent's left. All right. So if I'm facing him, the attack is going to come in on my right side. So my right side is close hand to them, and my left, which is their same as their left, is outside. So Close hand is the one that's closest to the attack. Far hand is the one that's far away from the attack. So when I deflect, I generally use the far hand. And what I don't stop it, I don't karate block it, I don't put any force to it. All I'm going to do is just lightly touch it and allow that to redirect where the motion goes. I just keep it from hitting me. So there's a deflection, just like this. Boom, okay? Deflection. A cover. A cover is used with the close hand. So if I'm going to cover, I am going to take my close hand and I'm just going to lift it up to my head and my elbow comes up and they're going to hit, and I'm going to keep my chin down, my shoulder up, and my elbow in like this here, and it's going to look like this. And what's going to happen is they're going to hit my shoulder and arm area here instead of my head. So this is a cover. Now, a cover is covering up for an elbow, really. So, deflect. Cover comes up here like this here. Boom. Now I can leave it in this position here and it's just a cover. It just covers. Now, I can also advance that movement and it becomes an elbow. So I can either strike the arm or I can come in and strike the head with an elbow, with a number 7 elbow, straight up like that. All right. So we have a deflection. We have a cover. All right. So we also have what is called a pat. A pat is almost like a deflection, and a lot of people will call this deflection move a pat. The only reason I don't call it a pat mainly is because I have a separate technique that I call a pat, and it would be confusing. A pat is if you're going to come head in on it and just come in and pop it here, just a little tap. Okay. Now, this can on occasion cause the strike to stop, but what we're really doing is if I'm here, I'm going to get hit by that punch. Okay. So we always use body movement. We always use footwork and all kinds of movements to evade the attack. But that's not what we're really discussing right at the moment. But you have to comprehend that this all happens at the same time. So there's footwork involved with all of this stuff as well. But we're not going to deal with the actual footwork and movement right now. I'm just trying to talk about one aspect of this this defense here. So we have the deflection, we have the cover, and the pat comes on the outside. With the deflection, you're angling it. With a cover, you're on the inside of the body or the outside, but you're covering up here and you're still inside range of attack. All right. With a pat, you want to kind of move. So if I'm here, you want to kind of lean back and move outside. So here's the extent of the punch. Okay. If he punches, we're going to call the end of this pipe the extent of the punch. Okay. This is where it ends up. All right. So here, I'm going to get hit by that punch. So all I do is just lean back. My hand comes up, and it can be inside hand or outside hand. It doesn't matter. And you're just going to pat the glove, the hand, the fist, the knuckles, whatever it is here. You just pat that here. Boom. Open palm. And it's just going to come in like this. And all you're going to do is just pat like this. Boom. Pat it. Okay? You put a little bit of pressure on it. Not a lot. But really what you're doing is you're just stopping it. Bam. Okay? And when I say stop, I don't mean like a karate block stop. I mean you're keeping it from hitting yourself. So it's just like this. There you go. Just like that. Okay? Just like that. So here's a pat. Now, I know a guy who calls this a kitty cat pat. And I love that. That's freaking awesome, because you know how you've watched cats like this? Okay? That's basically what you're doing. You're kitty cat patting. Just like that. So, we have deflection. We have a cover. We have a pat. okay? And then we have what I call an ABAD, an Aiki bending arm deflection. Now, this is really more popular in Aikido, I think, and maybe some Chinese Wing Chun styles, possibly. But so that the camera can see well enough, I'm going to stay on the inside. I don't recommend that you, unless you have a plan for another technique to follow up, I don't recommend that you do this necessarily inside if you're going to go with the far hand. So if you're going to go with the far hand like this here, you're going to turn your back slightly to the punch that's coming in. So technically we're going to do this with the outside of the body. I'll just actually move to the outside of the body so you'll see it. I don't want to give any false information here. So what's going to happen is when the attack comes in, all right, your hand is going to elbow up, and you're going to use the back part of your hand, not the inside, because this is where all the arteries and softness and tendons and all the stuff that'll get you hurt is right here. This part up here, the back part here, you can get hurt here too, but you can survive this a lot easier, and you can survive that. So anyway, it's going to come down like this, okay? Now, I start at my elbow area, and I make contact with the attack that's coming in, and I roll it. And as I roll it, I'm doing an arimi, Shigo Kokudo arimi, which is a 45-degree angle like this here, okay? And then I do a tenkan. Now again, the footwork, we're not going to deal with the footwork right now. You could also do a kayaten, but we're not going to work on footwork right now. I'm just going to show you the upper part of the body. So I'm here, and I turn, boom, and then I end up just like this, okay? And I have control of this arm enough to where it doesn't hit me, okay? I redirected it where I want it to go. Now from here, you know, my elbow's over, I can grab it, I can hold it here, I can whip them around, I can lock it up here, I can, billion different things that you can do from there. But we're just concerning ourselves with the actual ABAD, the Aiki bending arm deflection. All right, so boom, I'm here, just like that. Okay, now I'm facing the same direction as the person that threw the punch is facing, and I'm beside them, which is where I want to be. So, I think that's as far as we'll go with this video. So we have a deflection, a cover, a pat, and an ABAD, just like that. All right. So I think there's one more we're going to work on. So we're hitting the deflection. We have the cover. We have the pat. We have the ABAD. Okay. Now there's another one that's very, very popular in Chinese martial art, and I learned it from Filipino, Indonesian Salat, Filipino Kali Salat martial arts, but they may have gotten it from the Chinese Wing Chun. I don't know, but in Chinese it's called a tanso. I think the tansao. I think it's pronounced tansao. But what it is, and we use this a lot when we're defending knives, because again, we don't want the inside of our arms to be exposed to being cut. We want, if we're going to get cut, and if you're in a knife fight, you're gonna get cut. Okay, just don't even expect anything less than. So instead of exposing this part of our arm, we're gonna expose the back part when we want to deflect. Our fingers will be open, the palm will be up, and it'll come in like this here, boom. And it works with either side, close hand or far hand, just like this. Okay. Now, and I do call this tansao only because I don't recall what we called it in Kali class, and I do know, boom boom, tonsao, just like this, okay? And on the outside, so we're gonna hit a deflection, we're gonna hit a cover. We're gonna come back here, and this is kind of a tonsao here, boom. Tonsao here, just like that. Boom, boom, there we go, just like this. So it's like this. We don't go on this side because when they pull back with the knife, they'll slice all the good parts. This way, if they pull back, because they've got a knife in the hand here, if they pull back, they're just gonna cut the back of our hands, which isn't pleasant, but it's a lot more conducive to survival if you get the back part of your arm here cut rather than the inside of the arm. But then the tonsao. So here is the other, the last one we're going to discuss when it comes to deflections and redirections. The tonsao, just like here. Now, I don't know how they teach it in Wing Chun. I don't know how, you know, if you're a Wing Chun practitioner or another Chinese martial art, and you look at this and you're like, oh, you're doing it completely wrong, it works for me, and this is how I work it, and this is how I've always worked it, and it does pretty good for me. So if it works for me, then it's good for me. So one more time, let's look through. We have deflection. Deflection is with our outside hand, and it just moves the attack away. Boom. So if this attack is actually coming in here, and let's position myself as if I'm going to get hit by the attack right here, right? So if I use my deflection, see, move it just enough where I can actually move in. If I don't use the deflection and I come in, pull up there, see, I get hit right in the throat or the face or whatever, okay? So this deflection moves it just enough so I can come in and do whatever I want to do. All right, so we have a deflection, we have a cover. All right, again, the cover does the same thing as the deflection does, except it's on the close inside. Boom, just like this. Okay, so if I get hit, if I go straight in, say I'm going to get hit. But if I use this cover, there, see, boom, now see, I can move all the way in. Bam, there's that elbow. Using the cover, come in, hit the ribs, or if I move it just enough, I can pop, hit him in the jaw. Not that I would ever really do that to somebody. So, deflection, cover, all right? We have the pat. So if we get caught on the end of this attack, which is where we don't want to be. We don't want to be on the end of this attack because that's going to hurt. Bam, right? All right, if we're going to get caught, I'd rather get caught way in here because there's going to be less damage when I get hit. All right? Or if you're extended enough out of range, it just comes through and misses you completely. That's really good too. But you don't want to get caught at the end of that and get popped, okay? So that's where the pat comes in. Boom, I'm going to pat that. Boom, I pat it. Just enough to boom, boom, get out of the way, boom, boom, pat, okay? A-bad. This is when I'm redirecting to the outside so that I'm facing the same direction as they are, and then I start manipulating them with locks and throws, all right? And then, of course, we have tonsao. And the tonsao, back of the hand here and here, okay? There we go. Here and here, just like this. And that works inside, outside, boom, boom, here. And then see that I can, from here, I can direct it down and I can start working my locks and throws for Aikido and other things. So there are the basic ideas of the deflections that we use in Zenshin Aikijitsu to redirect the attack so that we don't stop the attack, because we don't want to stop it. We want it to either continue on the path, or we want to redirect it on another path that allows us to get in and do what we want to do. Let's say we get caught on the inside. We're uchi. We're on the inside of these two arms, and I've said many times, and I will repeat myself because I love doing that, not my favorite spot to be in, okay? In here, yeah, not really a good place to be, because you have to deal with both limbs, both. You have to deal with two different things at the same time. If the guy is going to punch with the left, all right, and you start working on this left hand, you can't ignore that right hand that's back there, because this is going to start clubbing you in the side of the head or the back of the head or wherever the hell you are. Okay? If I'm stupid enough to do this on the inside and I'm working this arm like this and I'm not really facing him, I'm like this or whatever, I'm going to get hit in the back of the head. All right? Even if I still am keeping an eye on his head here, I'm facing towards him, and I start screwing around with this arm here, doing all kinds of crazy stuff and forgetting about the fact that, woo, I'm doing a million different techniques at the same time, and look how awesome I'm, boom, 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 boom. Well, while I'm doing all that, this other arm here, this left hand on the other side here, is just beating the dog shit out of me in the back of my head, right? I'm just, and all the time I'm either getting stabbed in the back, or, you know, I'm getting pounded in the back of the head, or, you know, I'm not having a good day. So, if you get caught inside here and you want to be on the outside, all right, very simple thing to do. All right, again, far side deflection, far side deflection. So let me just move this dummy a little bit here. There we go. So outside of the body, boop boop, where I want to be. Inside of the body, I'd prefer not to necessarily be here if I didn't have to be. Okay, but for some reason the punch comes in and my brain or my body, one, decided it wanted to go to the inside, and I'm not really happy here. How do I get to the outside? All right, there's plenty of ways of doing it. You can use basic footwork and body movement to just boom. Now I'm on, boom, I duck it and I roll. I do a little weave and I'm on the outside. Inside of the body, outside of the body. Okay? Boom, boom. If I'm far enough back, all I have to do is, if I'm in a boxing position, and again, I'm trying not to talk about footwork and stuff like this, but it's you can't really talk about one aspect without talking about the other aspect to some degree. I'm trying to separate all the footwork and the movement from the actual hand movements, and to get an overall view, you can't really do that. All right, so you're not going to get 100% overall view on this, because I'm not working the footwork or showing you the footwork or delving into that as much as I am with this hand stuff. But again, if you're caught too far in, you know, a good bob and weave will get you on the outside. If you're a little bit further out this way on the punch, all right, Seigan no Komai and Zenshin Aikijitsu does not have stances. We do not position ourselves like in karate. They get into stances and they stay that way. Okay, they're grounded. They say it gives them foundation and movement, or it doesn't give them movement, but it gives them power, right? Which is true. If you ground yourself, boom, and you're in this boom like this, you got really good power, but you can't move. And I prefer to move, okay? I just prefer to move. So we don't have stances, we have footwork. Footwork is movement, all right? It's movement. Now, the only quote-unquote stance that we work with isn't really even a stance, but to slow it down. And this is why karate has stances. I'm digressing a little bit here, but again, I love to do that too. So in my viewpoint, the reason karate has stances is that, imagine a movie. All right, you're watching a movie of something, okay? Now, if you take each individual movement of that movie, you have a picture, all right? So what happened was somebody was watching that karate movie and slowed it down until they got individual pictures, and then they saw someone, boom, and rigid, stiff in one spot like this, right? And it just became doctrine. That's how you do it, all right? But if you were to speed that picture up and you'd have pictures of them doing their whole thing, all right, and you speed that up into a film, they wouldn't be standing still. They'd be continually moving, okay? I hope you're tracking with that. But anyway, we practice footwork, you know, whatever. We practice footwork, but we do have one identifiable quote-unquote stance in our system. It's called Seigan no Komai. Now, what it is it's very much like, and again, I don't have the camera set up to show you my feet, so I'm going to have to kind of describe it a little bit, and in a later video we'll deal with footwork and things of that nature. But imagine a karate front stance, all right? Somewhat like a karate front stance. Now, when you take that karate front stance and you lean back on it, you get like a back stance, okay? Now, that is basically Seigan no Komai, okay? You're going to lean in on that front stance a little bit, okay? And Zenshin Aikido and Zenshin Aikijitsu relies heavily on this movement, okay? But it's not a stance. We don't stay in that position. It's a constant movement. But to teach it, we slow it down sometimes. So you're in, let's say, a front stance. You're going to lean forward and put more weight on that front leg, okay? Now from here, you lean back and you put more weight on your back leg. So it's like this little teeter-totter thing, in and out like this, boom, boom, okay? And you don't have to really move your feet when you do that, but you can move, you know, a couple feet. So if I'm on the end of this attack, say I'm right here, and as I've said before, you don't want to be on the end of the attack because that's where all the power and everything is at, all right? If I'm going to get hit with this, if I'm going to get hit with the arm, I'd much prefer to be in. All right, now I have not moved my feet. Now, listen. Okay, that's me moving my feet. You can hear when I'm moving my feet. All right, you can hear that. Listen. So you can hear me moving my feet. So you know when I'm moving my feet. I can't hide that just because I'm not filming it. You can hear that. All right, so let me position. There we go. I'm in, we'll call it a karate front stance type thing, okay? I'm in kind of like more of a stationary boxing position. That's probably more what it is. I'm more in like a boxing position, but it's not moving. I put myself in a kind of like a boxing position and I just stand there, all right? So I'm kind of in that boxing position. I think that's probably a better description than the karate front stance. So I take that body position that I have. Now listen, okay? You can hear me moving my feet, right? Okay, so I'm in my position. Now listen, I'm going to move in and I'm going to move back. All right, clearly I'm not moving my feet. I'm not moving. Or you'd hear this. So you can hear me moving my feet that time. Now, nothing. Because I'm not moving my feet. I'm moving at my hips and my body. Alright? I can move the length of that arm. I can get in and I can strike the ribs, uppercut the face. I can hit this person and then come back out and I can evade that punch and it goes completely by me. Here I'm in a bad position. Right there. Right at the end of that punch. That's where I'm getting hit. Boom. Don't want that. Boom. Just lean back. Now it goes completely past me. And you can hear I did not move my feet. Okay? Boom. Alright, so that's Seigan no Komai. That's what we work, this moving in and moving back type movement, which is very, very important in the Zenshin Aikijitsu system. All right. So let's get back to what I was really trying to talk about today. So let's say I get caught uchi on the inside of the body. All right, boom. Somebody's going to come in here. All right. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is a deflection. Deflection is from the outside, coming in and deflecting it away just a tad bit, just enough so I don't get hit. Boom, I get hit. Bam. Now I don't get hit, right? And as you can see, I moved in. Boom, just like that. Didn't move my feet. And I cover. See, I still haven't moved my feet. Alright, so I deflect, I cover. Now from here, if I want to get fancy, I can hit an A-bad from right there. So I do my deflection, I hit my cover, and then what I'm going to do is my left side, because I'm moving to my left, is going to move forward into a Shigo Kokudo. Alright, boom, and A-bad. Bam. There. Now I'm beside them and on the outside, facing the same direction they are. If I wanted to use A-bad, deflect, cover, A-bad. Bam. Just like that. Alright? But we're not going to work the A-bad right now. I'm just throwing that out. What we're going to work is another deflection. So I hit this deflection like this. This cover comes up automatically just because. Now, if you look at it, and if you notice, I don't know, some of you may have already seen this. When I deflect and I cover up, see how my hand comes up to my head, my elbow's here like this? Okay, yes, that leads straight into an A-bad, but it also leads straight into this tonsal. Bam. See that? Boom, boom, boom. Just like that. So that cover can lead me into an A-bad. Boom. If I want to face the same direction as they are and want to throw them from the outside. But it can also lead me straight into a tonsal, and I can stay to the inside if I want to from here. Boom, 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 and then I just check either the shoulder or a limb, a part of the limb that's going to stop it from hitting me. But if I want to go completely to the outside and I'm not wanting to face the same direction they are necessarily, so if I hit this A-bad, bam, see, it causes me to turn and face the same direction they are, which indicates I want to throw them. I want to manipulate them around, move them, and continue to throw them. I can also hit, boom, boom, here. I can take this outside hand, deflect, and cover. And when I do that, it can cover from the other side. This outside hand becomes the inside hand right here. And cover. Boom, just like that. Alright? So outside hand here is my deflecting hand. But if I use the same hand on the other side, on the outside, it becomes a cover because now it's my close hand. I hope you guys are tracking with that. If I'm on the inside of the body, my outside hand is a deflection. But if I use that same hand when I'm on the outside of the body, it becomes a cover because now it's my close hand. Okay? Good job. Alright, so boom, boom, get this cover. This deflection hand comes under into the outside and acts as a cover. Now, here is a gunting. Gunting means to scissor. Now, I'm going to tell you this much. All of this stuff is intertwinable and flows into everything else. So, this is one of those counter versus counter ideas. Anything that I do, I can flow into something else. So this deflection, this cover. Now, as I hit the inside here, using my outside arm to the outside of the arm here under, now it becomes, oh, There, I just broke his arm. See that? Yes, and that's what it's for, okay? That one in, one out is part of our 2 count deflection, and it is a scissor motion. So a scissor motion goes inside, outside, boom this way, or outside, inside this way. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen the videos for that yet, but boom, boom here. So here is a scissor or a gunting type incident, but we're gonna completely skip that aspect of it for now because we're just jumped down a rabbit hole that'll never have an ending. Boom, deflection, cover. The hand that deflected comes up into the outside, which becomes a cover, and that draws me in doing my footwork, my Shigo Kokudo footwork. Now I have the cover here. This becomes my fist comes in from the outside, and I can punch to the face, just like this. And I hope the camera angle gets this. Boom. Now, once I punch you in the face, I can use this as a deflection, deflect it. Now my cover hand drops down and punches you in the ribs. Boom, just like that, okay? So if I get caught on the inside and I don't want to be there, one way to get out of it, amongst countless different ways, and we're going to skip all of the boom booms and this is that and this flows into that and all that. So we deflect, we cover. We deflect, we punch, we deflect, and we punch. And I think I said deflect when I don't know, let me look. Deflect, cover. Cover, punch, deflect, punch. There we go. Did you get that? So hopefully the angle is okay. I have something on the wall over here. You might be able to see it. Yeah. I think you can. There in the corner, there's a little shelf that I put my cameras on. But because of the way the room is designed now compared to the way I did it originally, I don't really have great access to that shelf up there. I really need to get something right up here over maybe my results driven, passion fueled, and my raptor picture here. Something around that area that can angle down here that would be a little easier to get. I used to have one right up above my tire dummy, but it didn't give me enough of angle down to really see anything. Originally I had one right behind where the camera is, but my punching bag is in the way there. I have one behind me that's usable, but again it's behind me and all you're going to see is my back. So when I change things around the dojo, it makes it more difficult for me to have above stationary things to look down on me. So anyway, we're going to have to deal with what we got. Let's see here, maybe we'll turn it this direction. There we go. And we'll have one from this side. We'll see how well that works. All right, we'll do it that way. So we're going to start from the inside here. All right, so we're going to deflect. We're going to cover. Okay, the deflection hand comes under and becomes a cover. And then I punch. My punching hand becomes my deflection hand, and my cover hand becomes another punching hand, just like that. So there we go. I hope that's not too complicated. I'll do it a couple times without saying anything. I'm hoping that I'm not describing it in a manner that confuses you. So just watch it, and if you can't figure it out from my description and you can't figure it out from me watching it at this angle, let me know and I'll see what I can do about changing angles. I'll run through it one more time by describing it, and then I'll do it a couple times just doing it without description, and hopefully you can pick it up, and hopefully you've already got it. So just practice this, practice. Now I will tell you this, practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, but there's no such thing as perfect, so don't worry about it. All right, deflect, cover, deflection becomes outside cover. Punch. Punch becomes deflection. Cover becomes another punch. There we go. Alright. I can't hit this too hard, which makes me really go slow and really pick my spots, because this thing will fall apart if I actually hit it. So this is really good to have, because it makes you really slow down and it makes you work much harder than if you were to just whap, 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 whap. Just like that. Deflect. Inside deflect, inside cover, outside deflect or cover, punch, outside deflect, punch. Inside deflect, cover. Your inside deflection becomes outside cover, punch. The punching hand becomes a deflection, punch. Look how I disarmed him again. There we go. There we go. I don't want to glue those in because I need to move them. They have to move up, down, high, low, all that kind of stuff. I have 3 different sections that it can go to. It goes here, and you know, then I can have it in the middle, and then I can have it low. You know, so I don't want to glue these in. And then of course I need to be able to move my arms, so I don't want to glue those in either. So I can't glue these together and make them a little more durable, because if I do that, then I can't move them. And I need the movement. I really want, for good training, I need that movement. So I just deal with it. So again, inside, deflect, cover. The deflection, inside deflection becomes the outside cover, punch, deflect, punch. There we go. So practice that. While I'm thinking about it real quick, we're going to film a couple other things, but I do want to discuss something else. I am in the process of, seriously, I mean, I've been wanting to do this for years. I talked about it a little bit on my 2-mile walk. I do 2-mile walks about 3 or 4 times a week, and I take my camera with me and I just film what pops into my head. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's just crazy weird shit, but anyway, I have been wanting for many years, I've been wanting to produce a series of videos, instructional videos, that I can put up for sale that encompass the entire Zenshin Aikijitsu system, starting from white belt all the way to 5th degree black belt. Now, that's something that is going to take a really long time. It's going to take a lot of effort on my part, and it's going to take a lot of effort on somebody who's going to be my uki. It's going to take a lot of effort on their part. The problem is I have not found the appropriate time and energy to do it myself, but I haven't found the proper uki who can work with such massive amount of information and stay long enough to go through from 1st degree to 5th degree black belts and do the material that can place it onto a video. And I use the word video because I'm an old guy. What I really mean, because when I originally started this, it was back during VHS tape time, you know, back then, during VHS tapes. I was going to do, and I did do a few series, I never finished them or completed them. And then DVDs came along, and decided I would do the DVD series, and I did transfer some of the information over to DVDs and started working on that. But now, with MP4s and the internet and the computer and all this stuff, I do not have to produce a physical product. What I plan on doing is taking all this information, filming it, placing it into a format where I can store it onto the computer, and then I can just pass along like passcodes or whatever for you to get that information. So I don't have to actually physically create a product at this point to send like a VHS tape or a DVD or something like that. I film it, I place it, I put it together, I create the video, and you can purchase it, and then I can just send you a code that gives you access to it. Plain and simple. I don't have to deal with making DVDs or anything like that. So that is coming up. That is definitely coming up. I am going to focus myself more to create that series. So that series will hopefully come into effect soon. Now, even before the VHS, DVD / MP3s and MP4s and all that stuff, even before that, a book. I've always wanted to do a book on my martial art, or I should say a couple books or several books on my martial art system. Again, white belt all the way to like 5th degree black belt, and all the information that encompasses that. I want to do a book. Now that one's going to be a little more difficult because I do not want to do the format of the computer age with the flip books and that sort of thing. I want it to be a physical book. All right. There's just something different with the videos. I'm okay with the videos being through the internet and stuff like that. That's fine for me. But the book version, it needs to be a physical object. It just has to be a physical book. So the process of developing that has been horrendous for me. Taking the individual photographs that are going to be necessary, because this is going to be very visual. This book will be very visual more than wordy. So it's going to take a massive amount of time and effort to actually pull this thing off. So I've been wanting to do that for a really, really long time, but I finally have got myself into a mental state that I really want to do this, and I finally figured out the format that I want to use. Okay, back in the 70s and 80s and even the early 90s, I was really into physical books with martial arts. I collected any martial art book I could get my hands on, and I had a decent amount of them. I loved them. I no longer have them, but I still do enjoy the physical book aspect of it. I do have a good collection of digital books, but I don't want my book specifically being digital. Now, it can be transferred to digital, but I want it to be a physical book. But looking through all these instructional books, especially back in the 70s and 80s, you would have a picture, a little small picture, and then beside it you would have like what they're doing, and then another picture below that, and that's how it went. And I always figured that's how I would do my book. But a couple days ago, I just came up with this really, what I consider really interesting, unique idea for it. The format of it is going to be slightly different than a picture and then the description beside it, picture right under that, description beside it, picture under that, description beside it, and then there's a little pattern to this picture flows together in like a video. How I describe, a video is nothing more than multiple pictures placed together and run through a loop so you can see it actually physically move. But I have decided on the interesting format that I finally ended with, and hopefully that will get started as well. I would like to do them both simultaneously, but I don't think that's going to happen. If I have to choose one over the other, I might choose the video over the book version of it at this point, but we'll see how far we can get into both of them. So hopefully soon I will have a video series that will at least go from white belt to black belt. First degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree black belts will come in as I get the time and ability to actually film those in a manner in which I want them to be filmed. That's really the crux of the whole thing is getting them to look the way I want them to look. The way they look in my head, and then when I film them and look at them later, it just doesn't really seem to fit what I'm thinking in my head. Maybe my head's wrong, I don't know. But we're going to work on those two projects. So hopefully those will be coming out soon. And I do get a lot of people saying that they wish they lived near me so they could train with me. And with this video series and hopefully books coming out soon, then that can happen. Now, again, I don't know how many people say that just because they're not around me and they know they can't train with me. So they just say, hey, I'd like to train with you, but I'm not near you. Oh well, But these books and these videos will give you the opportunity to train somewhat with me. And so they are hopefully going to be coming up soon. So they started with another basic general technique. All right. So as I've said before, many times, uchi inside the body, arm on this side, arm on that side. Not my favorite place to be. All right. Starting on the outside. Let's just say, for example, for some reason, you want to go to the inside, or you want to do what is called hantai. Hantai means to the other side of the body. Now, generally, when I do hantai, I like to go behind you. It's safer that way because I don't have to deal with your freaking arms. I don't have to deal with the punching and the kicking to get to the other side of your body. I go behind you and I'm there. I disappear, I reappear on the other side of the body. So I personally prefer going behind you when I do hantai. I'm not going to be able to really demonstrate that on this because I can't get behind this critter because there's a tire dummy back there. So I'm going to show you in front. Now when I start filming with an individual, I can show you hantai by going behind them. So we're going to start on the outside of the body. I'm on the outside of his left punch, all right? And let's say for some reason I want to be on the outside of his right punch, but for some reason I can't go behind him, okay? So hantai, other side of the body. So what I'm going to start with, in this one particular situation, there's billions and billions of things you could do. It's endless, countless amounts of ways of getting there and doing things. This is just one. This is one way to practice it. And again, yeah, I got to talk about that real quick. Digressing again. But anyway, there is a huge difference between practice and training versus out on the street. All right. I get sick and tired of hearing people, oh, that would never work out in the street, and no one would ever stand there long enough to let you do all that. You're doing this, and this, and this, and, no shit, Sherlock. You're a dumbass if you think that this is going to work exactly the way we're doing it in the street, okay? If you think that, you're just a couch commando who's sitting on your couch, probably eating Cheetos in your underwear, wanting to bitch about somebody's martial arts. Okay, that's really basically the only type of people that are going to do that. So anyway, there is a difference between working techniques against a compliant uke and working something against somebody out in the street who's not going to be compliant and who's going to be physically wanting to take your head off or whatever. All right, so just get that out of your head. And yeah, so anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to apply many techniques together, and this is kind of the definition of a kata, but I don't go through this long kata thing, whatever. I don't like katas. Everybody who watches my videos knows I don't really care too much for katas as they're done in most martial arts the way they're done today. All right. But if you think about it in a particular point of view, this is kind of like a kata. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to string several techniques together to create one movement, which, yes, I know you'll never pull off in the street. Well, I take that back. It's not that you won't ever pull it off, because I've been able to pull off a lot of crap I never thought I'd be able to do to an actual human being fighting back just because they were an idiot, okay? But anyway, unless you're fighting an idiot, if you're fighting an idiot out in the street, doesn't know what he's doing, you'll probably be able to do this. But these are several techniques strung together to create one longer technique that you can practice and train with, so that when something really happens, you can use small portions of it to actually be able to defend yourself. All right, so here we go. We're starting on the outside of the far arm. We are going to deflect. We're going to cover. We are going to punch. Okay? Nothing new here. We're going to use an abad to roll inside. The free hand is going to hit tansao. We're going to check the opposite shoulder so that he can't punch me. Then I'm going to come in with the same arm that's checking here is going to slide down the arm into a tansao. I'm going to punch the guy in the face. Then I'm going to move to another tansao with the opposite arm. I'm going to move to an outside from the inside. I'm going to go outside and I'm going to deflect. I'm going to cover, and then I'm going to punch. Bingo. There's the technique right there. All right, that's the whole thing, to go from one side of the arm to the other side of the arm, using techniques that we practice every day. But it allows you to move from the outside to the inside to the outside. All right, so here we go. Deflect, cover, punch, abad, tansao, stop hit on the shoulder, tansao, punch. And from here, if you want to abad again, you can, or you can tansao with the other arm, and then you can deflect, cover, punch. All right, there's tons and tons of ways that you can work this, to work these techniques. Deflect, cover, punch, abad, tansao, check, shoulder, into a tansao with a punch. Now you can either tansao from the punch here, or you can abad with the hand that you have a tansao on. It's your choice. But we're going to tansao with the opposite side, then we're going to deflect again, then we're going to cover, and then we're going to come in with a punch. So you move from one side of the body to the other side of the body. And none of this, nothing in Zenshin Aikijitsu requires you to do the same thing all of the time. We have so many variations of techniques that can be done that when we're going for belts, we do have a specific order of this, and this, and this. But realistically, when we train, and I tell you all the time, when you're up here on the mat and you're training, we're going to do it like this because that's what we're training, not because that's what you have to do or that's the only thing that works. That's not an actual factual statement. Many things work. Okay, we're just happen to be working this particular thing right now. When you're in the street, if you practice this kind of stuff in the dojo day in and day out for an extended period of time, it becomes so instinctual that it just comes out. So you don't have to think about it. Something will come out that will work. So anyway, let's get back to this. And this is I wouldn't say basic, because Hantai isn't necessarily a basic movement. Hantai is a little specific as far, it's a little more advanced. But I personally think everything is basic. You know, I don't really like to separate techniques into beginners, intermediates, and advanced, because I think it's all basic. It's just a matter of how much time you put into it to learn it, to absorb it better. But we're going to go with a deflection, deflect, cover, punch, abad, tonsal, stop hit, punch, tonsal, tonsal with the other hand, deflect, cover, punch. Alright, so that I end up on the other side of the body. Bingo, just like that. Alright, so let's move this a little bit. Well, let's move it on this side. There we go. So we'll start on this side, work over. Alright, see if you can get a better shot of it. So we're going to start on this side here. And again, cover, or I'm sorry, deflect. Look at that, I disarmed him. Alright, let's get his arms back on. There we go. Alright, let's try it again. Deflect, cover, punch, abad, tonsal, punch, tonsal here, or stop hit. Disarmed him again. Alright, let's try not to break my guy. Deflection, cover, punch, abad, tonsal, stop hit, punch, tonsal, deflect, cover, punch. Alright, one more time. Deflect, cover, punch, abad, tonsal. You can do this at the same time. Now you have a nice little right there. Stop hit the shoulder. Check that shoulder. Come in and punch. And as you punch here, this moves into a tonsal so that the arm can't go anywhere. Alright? Now you can abad this here, or if you want to abad this here, we can just abad it like this, and then we can cover punch. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we have this like this here, we can scoot the punch into a tonsal, and then we can go ahead and deflect, cover, punch. It's really, everything is really up to the student and the way we're happen to train it that day. One day we'll train it with that extra abad. Another day we'll train it with tonsal. It just depends on, or we could do it both the same day. Deflect, cover, punch. Deflect, cover, punch. Abad, tonsal. Check the shoulder, punch the face. Tonsal, cover, cover, punch. Just like that. I can go to the other side of the body. Once I hit this side of the body, I do the same thing. Deflect, cover, punch. A-bad, tonsao. Stop hit. Punch to the face. Tonsao, tonsao. Deflect, cover, punch. Deflect, cover, punch. A-bad, tonsao, stop hit, punch. Tonsao, tonsao. Deflect, cover, punch. Just keep practicing and practicing and practicing. Thank you guys for stopping by the Yet Dojo.